The aide then realized that the old man in front of him was no ordinary man. The old man was a well-known anti-corruption leader a few years ago. He was caught in the middle of a fight against the corrupt rich and powerful. After hearing the letter, the old man was very excited. He asked the guards to help him get his Bible, but the guards refused him on the grounds that it took too long to visit him in prison. The old man could only tell David the secrets of the Bible.
The Bible has a code to each chapter and verse. Simple, you understand easily.
São duas Bíblias idênticas que usamos para mandar mensagens. Use a minha para encontrar o que o Zé Ângelo me deixou. Você tem que achar. Ajuda a gente.
Meanwhile, on the other side of the world, Raphael and his team were having a good time. He was leading Jack to the city center. It turns out that during his torture last night, he accidentally heard the name of the deputy mayor. Apparently, he has something to do with this incident. So the two of them went into the vice mayor's house to try to find some clues. But the butler spotted them as soon as they entered the courtyard. But the butler took pity on them because they were poorly dressed. The butler not only didn't report them, but also kindly took them out. In the course of small talk, they learned that Tom was once the vice mayor's confidant. But 2 days ago, he stole tens of millions of dollars in cash and bribe books from the vice mayor. He put the books in the refrigerator and had them hauled away by the movers the next day. It was a perfect theft. At night, the men discussed their next plans. They realized the only way to solve the mystery and find the fridge was to get the Bible. But before David left, the guard demanded $1,000 for his return. But that's a problem for all of them. They all looked to the aide, but the aide couldn't come up with that kind of money. He offered to record their story first and then try to figure out what to do. Unbeknownst to the crowd, the deputy mayor had received word that they were going to jail. He rushed to call Fred to get rid of the kids. It wasn't long before Raphael suddenly heard sirens outside. The three of them made a quick escape. Unfortunately, the assistant was captured. The police even burned down the entire dump before they left. The homeless scavengers flocked to the church. In desperation, Jack went into the priest's room and stole the cash from his locker. With the money, they could finally get their Bibles back. The next day David met with the prison guards, but as soon as he had the Bible and was ready to leave, the guards got up and grabbed him. Not far away, the police stopped hiding. David pulled out a crochet hook and cut the guard. Then he used the treacherous terrain of the kitchen to escape to the rooftop, where he threw the Bible to Jack. The police changed their target and came after him. Then Raphael gets on his bike and joins him. Jack quickly throws the Bible into the car, and that's how the three of them played the cops. The cops get so mad, they shoot at them, but Raphael was cursing at them. Afterwards, they fled to a rundown house. David went out to look for food, and the remaining two were here to decipher the code. One by one, they checked the number of pages and lines in the Bible against the numbers on the back of the lottery ticket. David goes to the next block and digs through the garbage for food. A girl on the other side of the street saw how handsome he was and came up to talk to him. As they chatted, a police car burst into the neighborhood. David ran for his life, but it was obvious that their whereabouts were exposed. Since there were too many police in the building, he had to climb the wall to get upstairs. Finally, they were able to alert their companions before the police arrived. They ran on the roof with the agility of monkeys, and this is their talent. But there were too many cops around. When there was no way out, the girl found them. He led the three of them to a group of motorcyclists. After hearing that the police were chasing them, the teenagers took them through a police barrier. They escaped without a scratch. Then Fred arrived and saw the decrypted number on the wall. It's a phone number. Raphael had already made the call. The call was to a cemetery. Tom had hidden everything in a grave. They followed the Bible's directions to grave number 17. Then a little girl suddenly appeared. She was Tom's daughter. She and her father had promised to meet here, but she never got to wait for him. While they were chatting, Fred arrived. He grabbed the other two and forced Raphael to tell him which chamber it was in. Despite his reluctance, he had to tell them the truth. Then Fred ordered them to break down the wall and dig the tomb. Soon the coffin was dragged out. When they opened it, it was full of money and bribe books. He happily called the deputy mayor to tell him he'd found the ledger, but tens of millions of dollars were missing. While he was still rejoicing, the girl had already sneaked up behind him. The girl picked up a stone cone and hit him on the head. Raphael picked up the pistol on the ground and put it to her head. His companion told him to shoot and his hands began to shake constantly. Although he was angry, in the end he couldn't be cruel enough. He punched his partner hard and left the cemetery with the bills. They threw the bags of money into the garbage truck and returned to the place where they had lived for more than 10 years. And their aim was to turn the poor people here upside down. Raphael took the 3 bags of money to the top of the hill and spread the $1 million bills down the hill. When the poor people saw this, they immediately put down their work and scrambled to pick up the bills. At that moment, Jack came quietly to the priest's room. He returned the money he had stolen 10 times over, and left an account of the bribes paid to the deputy mayor. The priest and his assistant decided to post the story on the internet. Soon the media began to report on it. Countless citizens were worried about Raphael and the others. Unbeknownst to them, they had already taken their last bag of money to the beach and started a life of freedom that everyone